The White House has continued to stand by Israel and has so far resisted calls for a ceasefire. And yet, they're now pushing Israel to be more precise in their attacks against Hamas to limit the amount of civilian deaths.
There will be a transition to another phase of this war, one that is focused in more precise ways on targeting the leadership.
One of President Biden's top deputies, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, visiting Tel Aviv last week. He met face-to-face with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, urging the longtime ally to limit civilian deaths. But not long after Sullivan's visit, Netanyahu saying that the country would be satisfied with nothing less than total victory over Hamas, as Israeli military leaders say the war is likely to continue for several months.
We have to finish the stage we're currently in. If we're seeing Hamas collapse in the north, we have to see them collapse in the south too.
But the war has had a heavy human cost. The Hamas-run health ministry says there have been over 18,000 deaths in Gaza, including many women and children. Journalists have been killed as well. On Saturday morning, dozens of mourners came together for the funeral of Al Jazeera cameraman Samir Abu Daqqa. He was reporting at a school in Khan Yunis that had been hit by an earlier airstrike when an Israeli drone launched a second attack. Meanwhile, in Tel Aviv, thousands gathered Saturday night to keep the focus on the hostages being held by Hamas, chanting the words, "All of them now." Just one day earlier, the Israeli military announced that 3 hostages were accidentally killed by Israeli soldiers when they were mistakenly identified as a threat. At the rally Saturday night, actor Michael Rappaport among the speakers.
Currently, there are 129 men, women, and babies who have been in captivity for 71 days. 71 days. They need to come home now. Akshav.
Now, there is growing concern from Democrats that President Biden's support for Israel could become a campaign issue and alienate young progressives. We've seen massive protests in places like New York City and Philadelphia, thousands coming out just this weekend to protest. But with 323 days still to go before election night, it's unclear whether this is going to be a campaign issue that President Biden needs to worry about. Reporting here in Washington, I'm Koslof, Spectrum News.